start by making a slip knot. Then you're going to make enough chains that can go around your hip. So find out your hip measurement. For this, I'm going to make for a size 45 inches, So make enough chains that can go around your hip. So after making enough chains that can go around your hip or is equivalent to your hip measurement, the next thing we're going to join, but before we do that, just make sure that your yarn is not twisted. It's on the same direction before you join it to the other end of your work. Inside the very first chain that you made, you're going to slip stitch, and now you'll have your ring. So onto the first row, chain a total of 4, 3 and 4. That acts like one double crochet, chain 1, and skip the next chain, and in the next one make a double crochet, chain 1, and in the next skip the next chain, and in the next chain make a double crochet, chain 1, skip the next chain, and in the next chain make a double crochet, chain 1, skip the next chain, and in the next chain make a double crochet, chain 1, skip the next chain, and in the next chain make a double crochet, chain 1, skip the next chain, and in the next chain make a double crochet. So in this row we're going to be we already started making the mesh pattern. So this is what we're going to proceed with until you come back to where you started. So the pattern still the same, so just work all the way across, and I'll meet you when you get to this point so that we can go on to the next row. So I'm almost coming to the end of the row, so I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to skip this last stitch, and then on top of the chain 3 stitch, 1, 2, 3, you slip stitch on top of the chain 3 stitch that you first made, and that counts as your first row. Now you're moving on to the second row, so chain a total of 4, 2, 3 and 4. So the 4 acts like a double crochet, chain 1, so you're going to turn your work. After you turn your work, on the next double crochet make a double crochet, chain 1, on the next double crochet make a double crochet, chain 1, on the next double crochet make a double crochet, chain 1, and on the next double crochet make a double crochet, chain 1, and in the next double crochet make a double crochet, chain 1, and in the next double crochet make a double crochet, chain 1, and the next double crochet make a double crochet. So for this second row, that is the pattern, chain 1 and double crochet all the way across, and I'll meet you when you get to this point just before you complete the second row, so we can move on to the third row. I'm almost coming to the end of the second row, so I'm going to chain 1, skip the last stitch, and on top of the chain 3, 2, 3, slip stitch on top of the chain 3 stitch to complete the second row. So now from row 3, keep on repeating the same pattern, that is from row 3 until you have enough rows that is equivalent to the height of the skirt that you want, up to where you would like your slit to be. so you probably like something high-waisted slit, so you'll do less rows if you want a high-waisted slit. And if you want your slit to be a little low, so that means you're going to do more rows. So you're going to keep working on this until you have enough rows that is equivalent to the height of the skirt that you need just before you begin the slit. So do that, and I'm going to show you how many rows I made and how much that measured in inches. So keep working on that, and I'll meet you when you get there. So I went on ahead and made a total of 41 rows, which is giving me around 16 inches when measured. So 16 inches, this is the height of the skirt to where we are beginning to make the slit. The upper slit is just slightly above the knee. Okay, so before we proceed, this is what you're going to do. This is the point where you left off your work. So just hold that and flip it so that it starts from left going to the right. After you flip it, take this side, this is where you left off your work. So at this point on the other side, exactly at least opposite in direction, just place a stitch marker on the double crochet opposite to that, like that. So where your left off your work is going to be the back of your skirt, and this other side is going to be the front of your skirt, and also where the slit is going to be. So after you've indicated the point, you're going to count at least 6 mesh boxes on this side, on your left. Or if you want your slit to be on the right, you can count a total of 6 boxes on your right. Depends on where you want like your slit to be. So I'm going to choose the left side, and I'm going to count a total of 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you want to also mark that with a slip stitch. So after marking that, you're going to go back to where you left off your work. At this point, chain 1 and cut your yarn from here so we can proceed. So on the very next step, you can take off these stitch markers at the sides. So now we are going to be working with these two. So from here, what you're going to do, you're going to attach your yarn at either of these 2 stitch markers. So I'm going to attach my yarn here, and chain a total of 4. And on the next double crochet, make a double crochet, chain 1, and make a double crochet. So you're going to make a mesh pattern all the way across until you get to this other stitch marker. So do that, and let me meet you in the next step. So I'm back to my stitch marker. It's on the next double crochet, so I'm going to take this off, chain 1, and make a double crochet in the last double crochet. So that is where you're going to end. Proceeding, chain 4 and turn your work. make a double crochet, so basically in this row you're just going to keep repeating the mesh pattern. So you're going to keep repeating the mesh pattern, following just beginning here and ending here until like you've made enough rows that can give you the height of the skirt that you want. So do that, and when I meet, I'll tell you how many rows that I made in total. So in order to get to the length that I wanted for the skirt, I had to go for like a total of around 96 rows. Okay, so this is where we left off, and I had made a total of 41 rows, and then I continued making, and I added a total of 55 rows if I count all the rows up to the last point that I have, because I wanted a maxi skirt long enough to like go past my feet. So depending on the height that you wanted, you could do or more or less, but I had like a total of 96 rows total if I add everything up. So the next step is going to be to add the ruffles at the bottom right here. So from this point, the slit point, all the way to the last row, you're going to have ruffles, and these ruffles, they're going to be like, you're going to space them like one row and then space it to the next one. So I want us to do that before we just go on, so that you automatically know where you're going to be working the ruffles. Like the first one is going to be on this very first row where the slit is beginning, so you place a stitch marker on it and then count a total of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and on the 6th, one, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the 6th, so I think that this work is best worked when you're going downwards. So you want to make sure that the first place you're beginning to add the ruffles is the row just before you begin splitting your work. So like this is the first row, the last row completely, where we have this, where we splitted our work. Like this is the first row. So you want to make sure that the row that you're working on is not this first row, but rather this second row, or the second last row before the last row. So I wanted to make that clear because we are going to work on this last row at some point, so you want to leave it out. So attach your yarn, and chain a total of 4, 3 and 4. So in order to be working on this, we're going to be working on top of this double crochets that we had made previously. So after attaching your yarn on top of one of this, on this second row, and chaining 4, on the next double crochet, insert your hook and pull up a loop, and make a double crochet, chain 1, and in the next double crochet make a double crochet. So it's like you're repeating the same mesh pattern but on top of the double crochets that we have on this row. So chain 1, and in the next double crochet insert your hook. This is how you attach, like just insert your hook below it, pull up a loop, and then make a double crochet, chain 1, in the next double crochet, pull up a loop and make a double crochet, chain 1, in the next double crochet, pull up a loop and make a double crochet. So this is what you're going to do all the way across, and then I'll meet you when you get to the point where you started, so we can join and move to the second row. So I've gone all the way across and I'm at the last point of connecting the two. So chain 1, and on top of the chain 3 stitch, slip stitch, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then an additional one to make them 4, and inside the very same space make a double crochet like that, chain 1, and on the next double crochet, which is this one, make a double crochet, chain 1, and in the very same space, very same double crochet, make a double crochet. So beginning to form these stitches, chain 1, in the next double crochet, make a double crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet, chain 1, make a double crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet. So this is basically the pattern for the ruffles. You're going only to be doing one single row for the ruffles. The pattern is just a V stitch and a chain 1, a V stitch and a chain 1, a V stitch and a chain 1. The chain 1 is very, very important, so make sure you don't forget chaining 1 at all. After every double crochet, chain 1. After every V stitch, chain 1. So a V stitch is done, chain 1. In the next double crochet, make a double crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet in the very same space. Chain 1. In the next double crochet, make a double crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet in the very same space, chain 1. We're going to repeat this pattern all the way across, and I'll meet you so we can move on. Okay, well, so I went all around with it, and this is what I have. You can see the ruffles are formed as well. So I think from here I'm going to leave you to complete the rest of your work. In my case, I'll be skipping every 5, so this is where my next work is going to be, but the process is basically the same. So I'm going to leave you here so you can do the rest by yourself until you get to like the bottom part of your skirt. And once you do that, come back again after you've done that on each of the layers, and I'm gonna meet you when you're done so I can show you the next step. After adding the ruffles, this is how my work looks like. So I did that all the way to this point. I'll turn your work like this, and our next step, we're going to be working the end of your skirt, the last row of your skirt. That's what you're going to be working on. So on the very first chain, you're going to chain 4, and in the very same first double crochet, make a double crochet. On the next double crochet, make a double crochet, chain 1, and on the very same double crochet, make a double crochet, chain 1, and on the next double crochet, make a double crochet, chain 1, and on the very same space make a double crochet, chain 1, and in the next double crochet make a double crochet, chain 1, and in the very same space make another double crochet, chain 1. In the next double crochet make a double crochet, chain 1, and in the very same space another double crochet. This is how your work looks like. Chain 1, 1 double crochet, chain 1, and 1 double crochet, chain 1, and the next chain 1, 1 double crochet, chain 1, and then a double crochet in the very same space, chain 1, and in the next a double crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet in the very same space. So that is going to be your pattern. The pattern hasn't changed, it's the same thing we've been doing. So a chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, a V-stitch, and a chain 1. So go on ahead all the way, and I'll meet you when you go to this other point. So I've completed it. This is the row. So you're just going to chain 1, and cut your yarn. Now we are on the last part, which is to work inside the slit area, this point. So you're going to attach your yarn on this very first double crochet space, this one. Attach your yarn, and then chain 2, 3, 4, chain 4, and in the very same space make a double crochet. So that acts like a double crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet, chain 1, in the very same space make a double crochet, chain 1, and in the very same space make a double crochet. So if you count, you can notice that you have 1, 2, 3 V stitches inside 1 double crochet space. So that's what you're going to be doing in each double crochet space. So after this is done, chain 1, and in the very next double crochet space make a double crochet, chain 1, and in the very same space another double crochet. So that's our first V stitch, chain 1, in the very same space make a double crochet. So that makes a second V stitch, and chain 1, and in the very same space make a double crochet, and that makes our third V stitch. So that's complete. So you're moving to the next double crochet space, chain 1, and to the next double crochet space make a double crochet, chain 1, in the very same space make a double crochet. So that comes with our first V stitch, then chain 1, and in the very same space make a double crochet. Let's count our second V stitch, and then chain 1, and in the very same space make a double crochet. That's our third V stitch. And then now you move to the next double crochet space, chain 1 first before you start another, you start working in a new double crochet space. So chain 1 double crochet, and then chain 1 in the very same space. That's the first V stitch, chain 1 in the very same space, the second V stitch, and chain 1 in the very same space, third V stitch, and then you move to the next double crochet space by starting by chaining 1, and then make a double crochet, chain 1, and in the very same double crochet space make another double crochet, chain 1 in the very same double crochet space, make a double crochet, chain 1, and in the very same double crochet space make a double crochet. If you count again, you notice this is 1, 2, 3 V stitches. So basically that is going to be your pattern for this for the slit area all the way. So you're going to go from this direction, from this point You're just going to keep working until you get to this point where you're turning to the other side. Work on this area and then you go back on the other side, so other side of your skirt, and continue until you finish on the other side of your skirt like this. So keep doing that and let me meet you when you're done with that so we can move on to the next. So you're going to, this is where you're making the ruffles, going all around until this other side. So do that and I'll meet you when you're done with that. So I went on ahead and completed the ruffles from the beginning to the end. So this is what we have on both sides. So that's that. So let's move on to the last step, which is to do something on the waistline. So what you're going to do next on this is attach your yarn at the middle point of your work, at least. So you're going to keep working front post double crochets, front post double crochet, so keep on working front post double crochets all the way across, and I'll meet you to when you get to this point when you started. So after going all the way, I'm back at the same point I started. So just on top of this first front post double crochet that you made, you're going to slip stitch. So you're moving on to the next rows. You're going to need 2 rows for this. So chain 3, and in the next front post double crochet, make a front post double crochet, and in the next front post double crochet, make a front post double crochet, in the next one, make a front post double crochet. So you're going to keep working front post double crochet all the way across, and I'll meet you when you are done. So I've gone around and I'm done with the 2 rows. So you're just going to chain 1 and cut your yarn. So the last part of your work is going to make a drawstring and then just add it at your waist so that you can be able to pull on it when you're putting on your skirt. So that's the last part. So let's do that and just complete our work. So when making the drawstring, I prefer doubling my strand so I can have something that is concrete to work with. So chain a total of 100, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I went ahead and made a total of 100, but I noticed that it's quite short, so I added a total of 50. So this is a total of 150 chains that is capable of going around my waist, and yeah, for this. So chain 1 and cut your yarn. Okay, so now you can get a darning needle. We're going to use that to insert this in the work. So make sure your work is on the middle. So 1, skip 1, like that. Skip 1, and the next. Skip 1, and the next. Skip 1. So this is what you have. So the next thing you're going to do is just weave in all your ends, and that will be the end of the tutorial. Thank you for tuning in and for watching. If you like the video and you find it valuable, please like, comment, leave a comment, and most importantly, subscribe to my channel. And you can also share these videos with other creators as well. So thank you, and I will see you in the next video. Till then, bye.